I'm Amanda Borges, and this is The Spin on Yahoo Sports. Lamar Jackson picked up his first career win in his first career start on Sunday. So is this a sign of the end of Joe Flacco in Baltimore? Senior NFL writers Terez Paylor and Charles Robinson join me now to discuss. Terez, is it time for the Ravens to make Lamar the permanent starter?
I don't know if they're thinking about making him the permanent starter. I think they were very committed to letting Joe Flacco get this year. But I think they were doing that in hopes that they could spin him off for a pick or something of value this offseason while handing Lamar Jackson the job in 2019. And I think what we saw on Sunday was that Lamar Jackson does, in fact, bring an elite playmaking element to the game of football that can help this team. He's an exciting player to watch. It's that simple. As a playmaker, he's out there scrambling around. He was elusive, and he was doing things that, honestly, we haven't seen from the quarterback position since Michael Vick, as far as the ability to use his legs and make teams pay. A lot of times he looked like the fastest player on the field. That obviously doesn't mean that he's a complete and finished product. I had a chance to visit there this preseason, and it was very clear that the Ravens wanted to see improvement in Lamar in his fundamentals and specifically his footwork. However, I think one thing that's important to remember is that this isn't 1998 anymore, okay? I think the game is so wide open, it's so pass happy. I think you can kind of get away with flaws in your delivery mechanics a little bit, especially when you can run around and do the things that Lamar can do. So I think more than anything, the Ravens saw that this is a guy that can help them, possibly sooner rather than later, but at the very least, they're going to be in good hands when they hand the reins to him in 2019.
Jackson ran the ball 27 times on Sunday, the most by an NFL QB in the Super Bowl era. So, Charles, Baltimore is part of a 5-team logjam at 5-5 for the second wildcard spot in the AFC. So does Jackson give them the best chance to make the playoffs?
Well, look, I think they still feel like experience is what gives them the chance to win, but you can't actually play experience if experience is not available. And the reality is Joe Flacco's got a hip injury that's pretty serious. I mean, it got to the point where they had to consult a surgeon to see whether or not Joe Flacco would have to go under the knife to get his hip repaired. Right now, he looks fine. He may return for the game against Oakland, but I think really what this comes down to is how the front office views Joe Flacco, how it views John Harbaugh as the head coach, and really where the future of this franchise lies. And Eric DeCosta, the assistant general manager, is going to be taking over the reins of that front office in this offseason. And really, listen, Lamar Jackson is Eric DeCosta's quarterback, not Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco's a mid-30s guy. He's highly paid for his production. And really, they could get rid of Joe Flacco this offseason and actually have a $2.5 million salary cap bump because of how sort of the base salary and the dead cap money lays out. I think ultimately this comes down to whether it's about the future or whether it's about a wild card slot that really doesn't help a Ravens team that I don't think is Super Bowl worthy. I think eventually that front office is going to look at Lamar Jackson and say it's time to start preparing for not just the end of 2018, but 2019 and beyond.
We'll see if Jackson or Flacco will be the difference down the stretch in the Ravens' push for the playoffs. Thank you very much, guys. For more from Terez and Charles, subscribe to the Yahoo Sports NFL podcast.